He whispers in my ear, kill yourself, no one will miss you.
And sometimes violence happens just because I don't like you. I don't like your face.
Hello guys, and welcome back to our channel. Today we will be discussing the topic of bullying. Recently around the world there's been a lot of stories about very violent
Bullying.
Yeah, that ended up severely hurting people or ending someone's life.
And I think most people in this country already heard that news. A kid got beaten up by 3 kids in middle school, and he got brutally murdered. He had asked for help from his parents, but he didn't get any help.
And then in Denmark, I've seen a lot of news stories recently that a trend has started of beating up each other on your birthday. So you receive what's called a birthday beating, where essentially, like, let's say you're turning 10, other kids will then hit you 10 times. And it's, at least in the kids they interview, it seems like it's quite an uncomfortable situation. I certainly would not have enjoyed that. And it was not the norm when I was a kid. And there's a really horrible thing that happened in America where a kid was being very violently bullied. Like in many cases of bullying, didn't receive the help they needed. A day after that they had been attacked by other students, they ended up choosing to end their life. We decided that we would share our experience of bullying when we were younger, when we were in school. I hope you guys will be okay with hearing us share our story. And maybe you'll feel encouraged to talk about your experience. Obviously, we grew up in completely different countries, and we had very different experiences of what school looked like and what it was like going to school. So for me personally, I was bullied since I started school, and then it continued until year 6. That would be year 7 here, because we have a grade 0 instead of 1. But I was chronically unpopular. It was quite horrible to go through. Like, looking back, it makes me quite sad. And it was something I, for years, even into my adult life, felt very ashamed of. And I would say it's not until this year that I've been willing to talk much about it publicly to anyone. Just because I think, first of all, that people will look at some people and assume that they never got bullied. People tend to get very shocked when I admit that I was bullied very badly. And your experience has been quite different.
Yeah. People here know that Dongbei is a very tough place. I love my hometown. I love Dongbei. But I think everyone from Dongbei can admit when we were a kid, Dongbei was a tough place. A lot of school violence. That generation of kids got influenced by the Hong Kong Mafia movies a lot. And people, like kids, thought that was cool. A lot of kids want to be the cool kid, the kids that have the most power in the school. Or the kids that dominate this block, or the community. And sometimes violence happens just because I don't like you. I don't like your face.
你走啥?
Yeah, there's no other reason. Kids robbery was very, very common. I remember that I put my money in my shoes. Or like you have pocket on your underwear.
It's so crazy.
But I think it got a lot better now. And there's also like bad mouth happen. It's more common between girls.
I think it's like that everywhere. Like girls tend to, like, if you don't like another girl, you just say really horrible things about her and make up stuff about her.
Yeah, make up rumors or like isolate someone.
I would say like that's partially what happened to me. So I have always been a very soft person. As a kid, I didn't have that concept of like hitting someone back. You could have told me as many times as you wanted to that I should do it, and I would have told you, like, you're not supposed to do that. Why would you hurt someone else? Even if someone hurt me, I couldn't get myself to be mean back. Instead, it would just make me cry. When people would say or do things to me, it just made me sad because I wanted to be their friend so bad.
Just out of curiosity, why do they bully? What's the point of it? Why do you find joy in taking innocent people and finding a way to be mean to them? It's not okay.
And it kind of resulted in this relentless bullying. I didn't have any friends. 0. I didn't really feel like anyone even wanted anything to do with me. So in my class we had like a popular girl. And I can't explain how it happened, but I just don't think she liked me very much. And then it just resulted in like everyone like dogpiling on me.
Even people who want to be friend with you, they are scared to talk to you.
I think so, yeah. And it's just easier to be a part of the group, I think, for some people.
Yeah. I would say that happened in middle school. It happened on 2 classmates of mine. You can say they were a bit slower. So a lot of kids just have a very horrible attitude to them.
In my experience, so Denmark as a society is so different from China of who will get bullied. So I was bullied for being like the studious kid, the good kid. I was always sitting in class like this and like being like I've phrased it before, like some wannabe Hermione from Harry Potter, because I loved learning. I thought it was so fun, and I loved knowing the answer, and it wasn't about making other people feel bad at all. I just really liked the environment of learning, and I was bullied for being ugly. Now I look back and I actually don't think I was like unusually bad looking as a kid, but I had glasses, so it's easy to bully someone like that. I was actually good at sport, but I was good at a sport that wasn't the popular sport. As much as Denmark likes to make itself like individualism and all of this stuff, like you can be whoever you want to be, it's completely fake. Don't buy into that at all. It's really not a joke. You have to fit into the exact category. So I was bullied so badly. Like I came home with a black eye one day. The school never called my parents. I would just come home and have injuries. My mom would call the school and be like, what is happening? A big part of that, I think, is that my main bully, who would beat me up or just taunt me in any way possible, was the secretary, like the school secretary's daughter. So whenever I would have an injury, I had to go to that office, and the mom to the kid that's doing this to me is sitting right there. So of course she's not going to call my parents. And yeah, it was just really tough. But as a kid, it's very difficult to see what else you can do. You guys have those student, teacher, parent conversations too, right?
Yeah.
So
parent meeting.
Yeah, we would have those. I would get told like, oh, Julie's an amazing kid. She does her homework. She's always good at participating in class. She's a very wonderful student. And then my parents would be like, yeah, but what's happening here? Because she is coming home crying and she doesn't want to go to school. I would use any opportunity to get out of school. There's many days where I would lie about feeling sick or I would physically be sick because I would get so scared of my own classmates. And the teachers would be like, well, maybe she just shouldn't be so different. So I signed up for soccer because my whole class played soccer as a after school activity. It didn't make me any more popular at all. Like, it did not help. I tried to change as much about me as I could comfortably, but I liked what I liked, you know, and I didn't think it was bad to be a little bit different. And I remember it was just a horror show. Like, I was quite talented at horseback riding, so I would win a lot, and my homeroom teacher was a horse person. So one day she was like, oh, Julie won this thing, like everyone. And in my head, I wanted to cry because I knew that now it would get even worse because now she had put attention on me. So in Denmark, for those who don't know, you're not allowed to brag. And it's not like China where bragging, like someone being like, oh, I'm so great. When they say brag, it literally means you're not allowed to ever be noticed for being good at something. In this case, people will use their insecurities against you and be like, oh, so you think you're better than me even though you never said you were. It's like their own mental problem, I think.
It's the Yendelon.
Yeah, the Yendelon. I know a lot of people look that up and think it sounds good. It's really not. It's torturous to live in a society that's that insecure. Every girl in my class wore the same exact outfit in different colors. That's not a joke. That's how streamlined it is. It looks like we're all factory printed. When you're the one person that stands out a little bit or a little bit different, then you're going to be an easy target very quickly. And in my case, I was an easy target because I didn't talk back. I didn't hit back. I would just get sad and I'll be like, please be my friend. Yeah.
Your type of student would get protected by teacher a lot because teachers here really like smart students. But I think teachers here have a tendency to have a prejudge on kids. This kid is smart, this kid is not. So even the not smart kid performs good, they're still
It was luck.
try to destroy their confidence, kind of. It's just luck.
Yeah, we've talked about that you had like this experience
Yeah.
that teachers were nice to you.
Yeah, I remember one of my math teacher, an old lady, really disliked me. I don't know why. So I was supposed to be one of the only 2 students that scored the full score in math in that exam. But she thought I gave the wrong answer, which I gave the right answer but in a different way.
Yeah.
And when I asked her, magically she couldn't find my exam paper. Yeah. And the student she liked became the only kid that scored full score.
I was like a teacher's pet, I would say. All my teachers praised me a lot for my performance. So even though teachers liked me, they wouldn't defend me in class. So when I would put my hand up, kids behind me would start making noises or like laugh at me or would like kick the chair. And it made me have a lot of anxiety. Like still to this day, people are being like laughing behind me. I feel that like childhood anxiety, which is so silly. A funny story is actually like my math teacher I would get, who would also be my PE teacher. I was terrified of this man. When I heard I would have him, I had a meltdown because I thought he would be mean to me. But he was actually one of the only teachers, like when he was the only one that was like, hey. And he would even tell me like he used to be like really good at judo. I think he's like has won a lot of stuff. So he was my PE teacher, right?
Yeah.
And when you are the unpopular kid, PE is literally the worst ever because you're going to be picked last for every team. People will make fun of you. People will destroy your confidence to a level you didn't know was possible. So I hated PE. But he was like, okay, Julie, come and try. So he would teach us judo and PE, and it turned out I'm actually quite good at it. And he was like, see, you can do it. Like he really tried to build my confidence.
Yeah, that's cute.
Yeah, but it wasn't easy, you know, because I tried to get help from teachers. And I find a lot of the time teachers are lazy when it comes to handling bullying.
Yeah.
So my parents, in a last-ditch effort to solve this, because it was clearly affecting me a lot, like they saw me go from being like a very talkative girl to always being sad, being very like introverted all of a sudden. So they contacted the school, had an emergency meeting because I had tried to tell them a little bit of what was happening because I was hiding most of the bullying as good as I could because I felt embarrassed. So I had finally come out and actually talked about it, and the teacher was like, oh yeah, we're definitely gonna do something about it. So I had hope in this situation, but what my teacher actually chose to do instead was gather the whole class and then ask, do you guys feel like there's bullying in our class? I had just told this woman that I was the only one that was being bullied and that it was no one supporting me. So of course no one is going to stand forth and be like, oh yeah, for sure we're bullying this one girl. It was horrible because they all knew it was me that had said something. They were fully aware that I had probably told on them. And then everyone was like, no, I don't feel like it. No, not at all. And then the teacher finishes the conversation with being like, oh, you guys are the best class ever. There's never any problems with you. Even though she knows that I stay home from school. I am scared of going to school. I come home crying according to my parents, and I have come home with injuries. It felt like the biggest slap in my face because this was a teacher I really liked and a teacher I thought was on my side, and it just felt like I was all alone in the world. And I remember just coming home and my parents being like, what happened? And I was like, oh, it's fine. And my parents had asked me if I wanted to move schools, but I was so convinced that it would just be the same somewhere else because the school they offered to move me to, I had heard had a really bad reputation for bullying. So I really didn't want to risk it, but it was just a very tough situation. I remember we talked about what happened my last day of school when we had a dinner. Like my classmates and I, we all had a dinner with our parents and all the teachers, and they told us that we had to give each other a hug. So you literally have to line up and hug everyone. And as I hug one of the boys that would often make mean comments about me, he whispers in my ear, kill yourself, no one will miss you. Right in front of my parents. My parents are standing right there. and I can't do anything. But that stayed with me for years, and it still makes me feel very upset internally, because you should never say that to someone. Like, you don't know what that does to a person to get told something like that when they really do feel like they have no one that cares about them. It was really horrible to get told that. And like my female bully, my main bully who gave me a black eye, her brother ended up getting cancer. And when I heard that, I had a sister who had a health condition too when I was younger. So I was familiar with that feeling, because you love your older sibling. And when something is wrong, you feel very stressed out by it and you want them to be better immediately. So I understood that, and I felt really bad for her, even though she had been bullying me for years already. So I was the first one to go up to her and be like, hey, if you need anything. And I was trying to be so nice to her. So a while goes by and he ends up luckily getting well again. First day, she comes back. I was immediately like, oh my god, I'm so happy for her. She walks up to me and she's like, I hope your sister dies. And that's still, like, even saying it now, it makes me so sad, because I cannot imagine ever saying that to a person. I really don't get it. I'm very upfront about like bullying, what I went through, even though it's so many years ago. It really affects me, even as an adult. It took me a long time to feel more comfortable meeting people again and not assume that they will just hate me. I remember when I got popular later in life, I got so shocked that I thought people were making fun of me. I was like, they definitely don't want to be my friend.
Like, sometimes I have this tiny voice in the back of my head that goes like, hey, everyone hates you, and they're not wrong to feel that way.
And sometimes you get worried about me, because when I talk about wanting to make new friends, I actually still get quite nervous about it. I still have that hidden mentality of like, oh, people just don't like me. And you're always like trying to cheer me up and being like, you're great.
Yeah.
But that's my story. I'm very happy that I got over it. But if you're sitting out there and you have a similar story, just know you're not alone. And you don't deserve what happens or has happened to you.
You can ask for help. Ask for help from people you trust, maybe a teacher or your parents. And if you still didn't get the help you need, you can call or contact some organizations.
Yeah, we'll put in the information. But definitely don't hide it from your parents. Try and ask for help. Don't do what I did. Because my parents today have said that they would 100% have forced me to move schools immediately had they known how bad it actually was. But a lot of the time, kids don't want to trouble anyone. And we've talked about it. Like, our attitude is shared on this. Like, if our kid ever came to us and said that they struggled in school because of someone, that we would try to help them. But if it's really at the point where they don't feel comfortable in that environment anymore, like they don't feel safe, we would move our kid immediately, because you deserve to feel safe where you have to stay for that many hours a day, you know?
And also, I think school and teachers should do a better job on this.
Yeah.
They should tell kids this is not acceptable. They should tell kids how to ask for help.
Yeah.
I believe school violence or bullying shouldn't be handled by the school.
No.
Or teachers. It should be handled by police.
Yeah, I think as soon as you put hands on another human, the same way we would handle it if it was two adults, I think police has to be called. Because at least then there should be a consequence to the behavior you're showing. Because a lot of the times I hear stories where schools hid what was happening.
Yeah.
I was listening to some crime stories where schools even threatened the student, like teachers threatened their own students to stay silent.
Their reputation.
Yeah, or like parents of bullies would offer money to the bullied kid's family. It's so horrible. Like, I can't understand this mentality.
You're encouraging those kids to become future criminals.
Yeah. I know that there's a story of like Chinese foreign exchange students that very severely bullied and hurt another Chinese girl, and they are in prison currently, I think. And I think that's completely fair, but you saw those kids fully thought that nothing would happen because, oh, we're just kids. We hope that if you're going through something, or if you have gone through something, that you'll find someone that you can share it with and feel comfortable with, and that you know that no one deserves to be talked to like that, treated like that. And yeah, you're definitely loved in this world.
You're not alone, we're with you.
Yeah. I hope you guys at least found some meaning in this, and that you'll tune in for future videos of ours. Yeah. Bye, guys. Bye.